Hi guys, it's Tiff from Scrap Sanity here, and welcome if you're new, or welcome back to my channel. Today I am so excited to bring you this video, 100 free junk journal pages you already have. So for today's video I'm just going to be using these two large jump rings to compile my junk journal. Obviously there's lots of different ways you can make junk journals, but this is just the easiest way to demonstrate all the different page ideas. That's going to be my cover. I might even decorate it at the end, but just so that you can see what the pages actually look like for the moment. And I mean, you can even use book covers as like a page idea. I guess you could say that there's 101 ideas, because there you go, you can use this as well. I don't know if 100 of my pages are going to fit in this, but we'll see how we go. Okay, so the first idea I have, and I'm going to do these in alphabetical order just because that was the way I printed them out, is acetate. Now, most of us would have something like this lying around, whether you save it in the packaging when you get clear stamps, or, you know, a box of transparency films. That's where I got mine from, because you can actually print on these ones. But we probably don't tend to think of using this so much, because in our junk journals we just think more of the antique aged look, whereas we don't sort of think of using plastic. But I think it's actually great because you can see what's underneath. It's just a fun thing, I think, to change up the textures. Okay, so as we go through the video, you'll just get used to me punching the holes off camera and coming back and popping them in. And there it is, acetate. Now, our second page idea is aluminium foil. Now, this is something that we all have in our pantries. Absolutely, it's a staple item in all homes. So I've actually folded it over to give it some extra thickness there. And that is going to fit in without having to unfold it further. So I'm just going to punch the holes and So here we have it. Our second page idea is aluminium foil. And doesn't that look nice on there? I love the sound that it makes. I love the look of it. You can either have the shiny side showing or the matte side, and I've chosen the matte side, but it's entirely up to you. We've got the acetate and the aluminium foil, and we're slowly building. Okay, the next one is artwork, and I've chosen a Happy Mother's Day card that my daughter did for me many years ago now. I just think that it's a beautiful thing to look back on, and it's creating memories, and it's memorabilia from your family that you're adding to your junk journal. You can also use professional artwork that you get out of frames. These were just backed, ready to be put in frames. But today I'm just going to be using my daughter's artwork. Okay, and there goes number 3. Onto my jump rings. And we have number 4, baking paper. This is another staple that most of us will have in our pantries. You don't have to go out spending money if you're not an experienced junk journaler or embellishment hoarder. You can just go to your pantry, and there's 2 things that you would already have had, the aluminium foil and the baking paper. And now you could scrumple this up and give it a nice scrunched effect. You could then run your ink pad over the top of it just to give it another special effect, but for the purpose of today's video I just want to keep it as flat as possible because we have got so many pages, so I'm just going to add the baking paper like that. Okay, and number 5, we have birth certificate. So if you didn't want to use your original one, and I don't really want to use this original one, but you can always scan it. Once again, you're using actual physical ephemera that you have. That is going to add a lot of interest to people looking back in years to come. This is actually of my beautiful son Billy. Just going to scan this, and I'll be right back, and I'll be adding that to the journal. I have scanned my certificate and printed it out, but for some reason my Epson 5800 is having a SPAC attack, and it's only reasonably new, so I don't know, it could be a clogged nozzle or need head cleaning or something. But anyway, we don't have time for that while we're filming a YouTube, so that's going to have to be worked out later, and hopefully I don't need to print anything else out for this video. But anyway, so we're just pretending that that's a birth certificate. Okay, next up we have bonbon casing. Now, I'm assuming that this is one that probably not many of you would have thought of. Like, yes, there will be a few things in this video that, you know, fairly obvious. However, I haven't included the top 2, which would just be plain copy paper and pattern paper, because I wanted to try and, you know, have it as different as possible. But I have also included a few staples in there for anybody that's new to junk journaling, and they can get a full gist of what they can actually get from home without having to go out and spend money. Had these at Christmas, and I just thought, how pretty are they? And I just love anything with foil on it, because I've been doing a lot of golden books lately, and I don't know, just the foil. I just love anything with foil now, probably because of that. So I thought, why not? Like, you might have to put underneath some heavy books or something to flatten it out overnight and then just cut the shape that you want. But I just, you know, rounded the corners and away we go. So there we have our bonbon casing, ready to add a little bit of foil sparkle goodness to your journal. So number 7 is one of the obvious ones, and it's just your plain book paper. But if you're new to junk journaling, you may not realise that's what one of our staples are. And you can go looking in your house for any type of books that you have, old books, books from when you were growing up, school books, novels. I'm sure everybody is going to have book paper in their home. And it is such a staple for us junk journalists. We use it for backing for collages. You can cover full pages in it. You can, you know, cover tags with it, make pockets, whatever. It is just so versatile. You can sew it, glue it. You can do just about anything with standard book paper. So there we have number 7, our favourite thing probably to use in junk journaling. And the reason that for people that are new that it is favoured over just your normal paper or pattern paper is that it does have the antique look, old book paper. With normal copy paper, you have to either coffee dye it or spray it or paint it or, you know, whatever to give it some type of altered look. Whereas book paper, you don't really have to do anything to it. Look, it just looks old and it looks like it's meant to be part of your junk journal. Okay, and number 8, we have Brochure. Now, I just picked this because I thought it looked interesting. And no, I've never been there. The reason I'm picking it, funnily enough, is because Billy's my son's name and Yaron go Billy Caves. So why not? And there we have it. And especially if it's meaningful to you, if you've been on a holiday or something, that's going to be amazing to look back and read about, you know, where you went and just a little bit about what it was about. It just tells a bit more of your story to have a brochure in there. Number 9 is another common one, but you may not have thought of using it in a junk journal, and that is bubble wrap. I just think it gives amazing texture to all the different pages. Now you can paint this, you can stick things to it, you can, you know, it serves as a backing to make reinforce things as well, but I just love mostly the different texture of it. So there we have it, number 9 bubble wrap. Isn't our journal looking amazing so far with all these different textures? And I wonder, is there anything so far that you haven't thought of? Let me know in the comments. And number 10, we have a calendar page. Now, I happen to have picked this one out of an old scrapbooking master's calendar that I had. So, Loretta Grayson, if you happen to be watching, I thought yours was the nicest. And, you know, it's also interesting to look back as well. You could write on the back of it some different things that happen in that month if you're not into junk planning, and that's a whole nother video. I have done a video on junk planners. If you're interested, want me to show you how to make one, you can let me know in the comments as well. I'm happy to do that. Now, if you don't have any old calendars lying around, you can always go onto Etsy and print yourself out one. And I'm in the process of actually designing one as well for people to print out also. Okay, number 11. The next one's a fun one, and that is canvas. Now, I've coffee dyed this one. It was just plain like that. And I actually just ripped it off, an old canvas. I just love the texture of it. Like, look at that. If you can see that clearly. And I just think it turned out beautifully with the coffee spray. So all you're doing is getting your coffee spray in a spray bottle. So just as much water as you want, and just keep adding teaspoons of coffee till you get the desired effect. And that's how it turns out. How beautiful is that? And then if you didn't want to wait for drying time, you can just spray it and then get your hairdryer or your heat gun. If you don't have, like, if you're not an established junk journaler, you can use your hairdryer. You don't have to go out and buy all these things. Or obviously if you've got a heat gun, you use that, and then it just or if you're in Australia like me at the moment experiencing a heat wave, stick it out the door and wave it around for 5 minutes and it'll be dry. Oh, fair income. So there we have it. Number 11, canvas. All right, number 12. This is just an obvious one, but an old cardboard box. Very obvious to people who are experienced, maybe not so obvious to people who aren't. Now, also with these, what's awesome is that you can even create even more texture by ripping, and I'm not going to do it now, but you can see that. So if you wanted to sort of like rip one layer off, you'd have all that nice extra textured effect. It's just to show you that you can use cardboard as a page when you don't have a lot of other supplies. So I've cut my holes, but what I'm also going to do, you can use scissors or a ruler, but I'm actually just going to tear this myself so that we get a nice little effect on the edge there. Actually curling it might be easier, mightn't it? So there you go, and you've got that beautiful textured little edge. Number 12. Cardboard box. Okay, number 13, I have a case. Now, I have beautiful material here that used to be like either a pencil case, or you could use a beauty case. So I've got a beauty case here, and that would be absolutely gorgeous to use as well. Look at the sparkle on that. But I'm not going to use this because it's actually a bit chumpy. If I cut it up, it wouldn't be, but I don't really want to cut that up. Or if, you know, you could even use it as one piece, and I have like 2 pockets. Look at that, I have a pocket there and a pocket there. But yeah, that's just a little bit thick for this, what I want to do here. And this is much better because it's much thinner. And there we have it, a case. Number 13, made out of an old case. Beauty case, pencil case, whatever case you want it to be. Okay, number 14 is a CD cover. And by CD cover, I obviously don't mean the plastic. I mean the insert that goes inside the CD. This one is an actual cover, but it's the one that you would use if you didn't have the proper cover and you're just putting the CD into the insert. I think that that's really interesting as well. So there's another 2 ideas. And for the purpose of this video, I'm just going to pop that in there. How cool is that? And the holes are already punched there. So which ones do I need? That one and that one. All right, beautiful, already done for me. I'm loving that for me. All right, and that was number 14 CD cover. Okay, another fun one, number 15, certificate. So this is a beautiful old certificate of my father's. I'm actually making a special album just with all of his beautiful old certificates. But how interesting is this to look through and to read and to have as memorabilia, preserving your family history. So once again, I'm just going to scan this. Well, actually, no, I'm not, because as you saw previously in the video, my printer's having a SPAC attack. Of course it would when I want to get a YouTube uploaded. So we're just going to pretend that I've put holes in that because, I mean, I just don't want to do that to this beautiful vintage item. Bit of ephemera, so we're just going to pretend that that's in there like that. Obviously, there's so many different certificates that you can have. You can have school certificates, sports certificates, diplomas. It's only limited to your imagination. The purpose of this is to find things around the home. First and foremost for the pages, ideas, but also for to enhance the overall look of your journal. Okay, number 16, this is an interesting one, and it's actually cleaning cloth. So I've got a couple here. This is actually a commercial grade cleaning cloth, and the texture in it is just amazing. You can have it plain, or you can coffee dye it. Now, obviously, if you coffee dye, it's going to look something like this. I think we all know what coffee dye looks like now. So you can keep it white, coffee dye it. This one had its own light blue colouring already, so I think that that's pretty nice as it is. And it's just got little, it looks like an octopus leg. So anything with texture to add to the texture of your journal is just going to be beautiful. Okay, so I've punched my holes and in goes number 16, cleaning cloth. There we go. I hope I'm giving you some good ideas so far. To number 17, a coaster. Now, this is one that maybe not all of you might have thought of, but, you know, after all, they are made out of paper and they're quite, you know, substantial at the best of times, provided you haven't spilt your drink on them. So they could also be used as mini journal covers, but that's a video for another time. We just want to stick to pages right now. So I'm very lucky that I've got a box of goodies here to choose from, because I actually bought them off a lady that was selling, that had been collecting for many years. And there's some real vintage ones here. She would have collected them as she went around to all the clubs. And so, yeah, I'm very lucky I had all these to choose from, but I've picked this beautiful floral one. And so I'm just going to put a couple of holes in that and away we go. Okay, and there we have number 17, coaster. Next one's an oldie but a goodie. And, of course, it's our coffee dyed paper. Now, you could use copy paper, coloured paper, book paper, whatever you want. But I just chose the baking paper because I had that out. And I did just want to give you a little tip as well. all I do is I get an old book and I lay the piece of paper on it that I want to do the coffee dyeing on. So for example, I'd get something that was thicker than this, but this is what I've got on hand just to show you. So I'd just put each of whatever the pages are that I'm coffee dyeing between the pages of the book. I'd get my coffee dye solution, I'd spray it all, and then I'd actually just get a cloth and I'd dampen it off like that, just any excess. And then I would close the book and I'd go on to the next page, you know, do the same again. So, and that way you're actually coffee dyeing the book as you go along as well. So that was just a little hint. You don't have to use an oven. You can just put it out in the sun. You can, as I said, get out your heat gun and give it a little bit extra so that you're not waiting all night, your hair dry or whatever. Or you can simply just let it dry on its own and leave it for a week and go back later and it's all done. So it's up to you, and it's all comes down to how quickly you need the project completed. So that was just an extra little tip for you. Coffee dyed paper, and that is probably the most common in addition to the book paper for junk journaling that I'm showing you today. Okay, and number 19, we have colouring in book page. Now, there's so many amazing colouring in books. You can buy them on Amazon, Temu, whatever. You can go to Big W, wherever you are in the world. Just get them literally for a couple of dollars each. That has got a beautiful shine on it there. Sorry, beautiful sheen, like a golden sheen. So those covers would be gorgeous as a journal covers. So yeah, all you want to do is just rip out any page in your colouring book that you like and add that to your journal. So there we have number 19, colouring book page. Okay, number 20. Oh, this is a fun one. So a comic page. So if you don't have any old comics, you can just go online, you know, Google comic pages and download them and print them out for the purpose of your junk journal. That's perfectly fine. Not if you're selling it, but if it's just for your own personal use, or you might actually have some lying around. If you don't want to use your original copies, once again, you can scan them and add them in, or you can go on eBay. You can go down to your local thrift shop. I'm sure that they'll have, you know, some form of comics. I just think it adds a vintage vibe and it's just something different. You don't come across a comic page so much anymore these days, and I just think it's a wonderful addition. I'm actually just going to add that there like that because I don't want to wreck my original comic, and once again my printer's not printing out, so I think we can just imagine that that's in there. Okay, and number 21, we have contact. And it just so happens to match my board here perfectly. Funny, how funny is that? Okay, look, I'll be honest, I think I bought this off Temu. It was quite a while ago, but, you know, I was very happy with the way that it looked, like, you know, the old weathered boards. And you see this on quite a few, you know, of the channels here on YouTube. There's so many different patterns that you can get. But on the back, if you leave the sticky on, then that's room for journaling. And that's a perfect addition to your journal because you're getting a party in the front and you're getting your journaling in the back. So you're getting 2 for 1. Okay, at number 22, we have a craft packaging bag. Now, this was something that I would have bought from Temu, and I would have just kept the bag thinking that maybe I could have used that as padding if I was sending out an order or something. But, I mean, it's actually quite a nice pearly sort of material, and I just think that it would be an amazing addition to a junk journal just for the texture of it and just the look of it. So once again, if you had room, I mean, this is getting pretty chunky already. I'm probably going to have to use a new set of jump rings just to keep going and showing you the examples. So it'd just depend on how many pages you were having and how big your jump rings were. But this would actually be great to all go in, maybe if you did it that way, all go in together, and that way you've got yourself a little pocket there. Or you can just cut off one section so that it's thin and just have it as the one page there. I'm going to just put holes in and have all of it because I'm going to have to change jump rings soon anyway. So yeah, I'll just do it that way. Here's my craft packaging. It's different to a mailer because it wasn't sent. This was inside. This was a bag that was inside the main mailing bag. So it had craft inside of it, or whatever it was that I bought. So another one that you could use is a craft packaging bag, is what I mean by this, you know, plastic bag, if that's what you wanted to use. I have bubble wrap, but I don't have bubble wrap that's pearlescent in here. So this is still a very different page to the other one. Yeah, so we're getting quite thick there, as you can see. So we might have to change over soon, but that's perfectly fine. And the next one is craft. So that was 22, craft packaging bag. 23 is craft packaging insert. So the reason that I had that ready is because look at this beautiful insert here. And a lot of people use Tim Holtz ones as well. I've just gone really big with this journal for whatever reason. I don't know why I've turned out so massive. That's just how big all my examples were. But this is way, way, way too pretty. Now, people that are new to junk journaling, I don't know, you might just think, okay, this is the thing that I bought. Actually, this is another canvas. We've already done that, but you could add that if you had it. But it was more about what you maybe could find around the house than bought objects. So that was a bought page, obviously. If you're new to junk journaling, you might think, oh, okay, well, that's the packaging. I'll just get rid of all of it. No, 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 no. If you're anything like me, or most of us, that, you know, want to hoard everything, then this is so gorgeous. Why would you ever want to, like, throw that out? What I'm going to do for the purpose of this one is I'm going to fold it in half, and then I'm going to punch my holes, and I'm going to have a beautiful craft packaging insert page, or double page in this instance, for my journal. And I didn't have to pay a cent. I just love it. I just love it. I don't know if you guys love turning junk into something, but I don't know. I just love it. I just get a real kick out of it, and I just think you're getting two things out of one, and that excites me. I love it. I just love it so much. I think I'm going to have to put my camera up a little bit so that, because this is getting way too big, this this just pop that screen up a little bit. All right, at number 24 we have curtains. So this was had some thermal velvety backing on the back of this curtain, and I've just cut off a little swatch because I think it adds a lovely texture. It's sort of a bit like calico. So I'm just going to add my holes to that and add it to the journal, and I'll be right back. Now, obviously there's so many different types of curtains. There's thick, thin, sheer, and yeah, if you don't have any lying around, I'm not suggesting that you go and hack into your curtains for the sake of making a junk journal. But yeah, if you wanted to go to your local thrift store, then I'm sure that, you know, you'd find some for very, very cheap in the bargain bin there. Okay, so that was number 24, curtain. And in at number 25 is a cushion cover. And I found this most gorgeous cushion cover that I had. It was in a set of Christmas ones, but I had too many for my lounge, so yeah, definitely not throwing that one out with the texture of it. It actually needs a bit of an iron. So yeah, I'm going to have to give my new craft iron a bit of a try out with this one to see if it works. I won't do that now because I want to get this video up and running, but I'm just going to have to trim that down, so I'll just do that and I'll be right back. I've just been sitting here contemplating off camera that I think that would actually make a really nice journal cover. So I don't want to cut a piece of that up, and that's okay. I'm a woman, I'm allowed to change my mind, especially when we're talking about a beautiful piece of fabric like that. So bear with me, I'm just going to go and find another bit of cushion cover that I am willing to cut up, and I'll be right back. I just got this cover that I've had on this cushion for a while. It really didn't go with my lounge, so I'm happy to cut this one up. So I'm just going to do that. Okay, I've cut one side off of that. Now I'm just thinking with that drawstring, this could have been an old library bag as well. So, I mean, there's another idea for you, old library bag, because they used to be made out of fabric, didn't they? So cushion cover or library bag can be number 25. There we go. So I'm just going to cut this down to size. I probably want the page to be about there. Let's do a little snip. And then we're going to, oh dear. Oh gosh. I'm just going to give that a little rip. Oh, that's tough. Oh dear. Get my work out doing that. Okay. All right, I'll pop that up there. Okay, so now we decide where we want it to come to. And the beauty of this is that it's double-sided, so it's just like double-sided paper, isn't it? Double-sided fabric. About there. And I think I'm going to, oh no, that went much easier along that way than it did the other way. Okay. And that will make a really nice journal cover as well. I'm going to have heaps left over. All right, I'm lucky that I have a commercial grade hole punch that is going to punch through. Well, I have a crocodile, but I'm not actually using that. I'm just using a very large, as I said, commercial hole punch. If you don't have that and you don't have something that's going to get through something like fabric, then you can just get an awl. you know, put that through and twist it around until it's okay. So there we had number 25 at cushion cover or library bag, and coming in at 26 is a delivery envelope. Now I've just covered up my address there or whatever, but how gorgeous is that? That's how it came. It had this pre-stamped envelope, but just all of the, like the stamps and everything on there. I just thought that it was such an eclectic little mix of things. I just absolutely loved the envelope. I loved the colour of it. So I very, which end did I cut? I very carefully cut one. Oh no, actually I might have just been able to get the back open. That's right, I did. I was able to get the back open. So I've preserved the entire envelope and I just love it. And you know, these ones obviously that you get from Amazon or whatever, they're just great as well. So they're like craft, you know, cardstock, and I love the label. I don't know, I just like it. I just like the look of that. I think I'm just so used to using packaging now that my eye actually is attracted towards that, because I know I can use it in a journal. The beauty of envelopes is that you can use them as pockets and put extra goodies in there as well. Okay, so I'm going to put the holes in this one. Actually, I'll just show you what I'm using. I'm using this big hole punch here, like this, and it's already lined up for A4. So that's good. And I just go wham bam, thank you ma'am. Is that the way that I want it to go? It's actually, you've got to be very careful about that. Yes. Oh, it doesn't really matter. We'll just do that. And then I've got extra little pocket there for goodies. Oh yes, I should have done it that way, sorry. I should have done it that way so that the label was up the right way. So yes, I've made a point of saying, and I still did it wrong. So do I really care? No, the only reason was because, you know, the stuff's going to fall out the bottom, but it's not a major drama. I mean, you can put a little clasp on it or something so it doesn't fall out. It just depends if you want it at the top or the bottom. It really doesn't matter. Guys, I should have done this one before when we're up to 25, because I think that having 100 things, we're probably going to have to do 4 journals because it's such a lot of pages. So at the end of each 25 things, I just want to show you. So that's obviously the back cover, what it's all going to look like. So that's it from the side. And then that's it from the front. Now, obviously, I'd be covering that. Or, I mean, it doesn't actually look too bad like it is, to be honest, depending on how eclectic you wanted things to look. But I'd probably just do a little pocket. So, yeah, it's totally up to you, the look that you're wanting. Okay, when you put a junk journal together like this with rings, the beauty of it is that you can have all the different heights of pages coming out the top, but it would also depend on, like, you can do the same on the bottom, but obviously you're not going to be able to stand it up like that. You're going to have to cut everything to the same level so that it will stand up. But if you didn't want it to stand up, if you were fine with it just always laying down like a coffee table book or something and then pick it up, then you can have the different you know, you don't have to cut anything off. So that's totally up to you. If you decide you want a journal where you want to stand everything up, you just have to level it all off like that to begin with and to the side. And then you'd have your little template and you'd know where to cut your holes. But for the purpose of this one, I'm just doing it like that because it's quick and easy. And, you know, I'm happy for it just to lie down like a coffee table book. So that's what it looks like. Look how beautiful and chumpy that is. I just think that is absolutely gorgeous. And these are all things that you can find from around your home as described. You don't need to go and buy really anything. I mean, some of the things, if you don't have, a family member might have them. Okay, guys, so we're only a quarter of the way through. What I'm going to do is I'm going to start my book again because this is getting very, very chumpy here. So just as a rule of thumb, you know that 25 things roughly are going to be, that's probably about 2 inches thick. So if we were to have all 100 things in one journal, it's going to be about 8 to 10 inches thick. Yeah, so you'd have to have pretty big jump rings for 8 to 10 inch books. These are 5 centimetre jump rings. Or if you wanted to do one massive journal with the 100 pages in it, you could just use twine or something to join that together as an option for you. Okay guys, so I'm back. I've actually started a new journal here because it was just getting a bit chumpy. So we've already done the envelope. Okay, so number 27, we have diary page. So I've just taken a couple of pages out of this gorgeous little diary that I had. And one of the pages was a beautiful little recipe that my daughter, because she wanted to be a cupcake maker when she was little, and she's written a little recipe down there, so that's really sweet. And then I just added one of the blank pages as well. So there's my little diary page. Some of them I won't do a big long explanation for because we do need to get through the video, and some of them are pretty self-explanatory. Okay, so number 28 this is actually a really cool one, a drink can divider. So when you get the big slabs of like the 30 cans, I've always thought that this textured bit that divides the layers of the cans is so cool. Like, because I just love circles, and, you know, because it was cardboard and it's pretty pliable, I've just always loved it. And I just think it would serve as a really cool page. Now, you can obviously cut it in half. A lot of these things I'm just leaving, you know, as doubles, which is probably why the first one filled up so quickly. You can get your ink pad, run it over the top. You can put little, you know, circles of photos, pattern papers. So there we have number 28, drink can divider. Okay, next we have a dust cover at number 29. This is also pretty self-explanatory. I've just taken the dust cover straight off a book, and there's so many beautiful dust covers with beautiful illustrations. You can glue these down and have little pockets in there if you want to. Once again, you can cut it off just to have a single page. You don't have to have a pocket at all. You can just have the front. So there's so many things that you can do, but I'm just going to put the whole thing in like that. Okay, so there's number 29, our dust cover. And number 30, we have a DVD cover. I specifically said DVD because not many people have VHS anymore, but it could be either or. I just have a VHS one here because this is actually very meaningful to me, because my son now, who is 21 and has autism, absolutely loved the Wiggles growing up and still does to this day. And if it wasn't for the Wiggles, I honestly don't know where I'd be today, and I'm saying that in all sincerity, because if you know anything about autism, it can be a long, hard road, and these guys have given I'm going to get a bit teary, my son years and years of enjoyment. So if it wasn't for these guys, I don't know where I'd be. Many thanks. It's very meaningful to me, and I want to add it to my journal. So there we have it at 30, DVD or VHS cover. Keep on wiggling. Okay, 31, we have Encyclopedia Page. Now, I've coffee dyed mine, and I've explained to you how to do that. If you don't know, it's very, very simple, and it just gives everything that beautiful texture and aged vintage look. So now we have our holes, and I'm adding my Encyclopedia Page at number 31. And number 32, we have a very pretty one, Fabric Doily. And the reason that I love this one is because I'm not even going to have to punch holes in it. I'll be able to get it on my hooks easily as is. So there's many different types. If you go down to your op shop, I can say with certainty that you'd be able to find something there. They're just beautiful. Fabric Doily coming in at, and I'm just going to put it on there. I don't mind if there's a little bit sticking out, because I just think that that adds to the beauty of the journal, how you've got different dimensions and lengths and things. You know, I'm definitely not going to cut that. And there we go, number 32, Fabric Doily. The next one is similar, only it hasn't been made into anything yet, and that's just a basic fabric sample. Now I'm choosing this beautiful farmhouse rose textured fabric, and it's actually for sale on my Etsy store if you are interested, and you do quilting or whatever. A lot of people have bought this off me. It's probably my biggest thing that I sell on Etsy for journal covers. Just brought in a couple of examples here to show you one cover that I've made out of the fabric there, and that's gorgeous. So this is a work in progress. I'm actually using all packaging paper for the papers, for the pages of this journal. This is another fabric cover that I've done. So if you'd like a tutorial on how to make the fabric covers, let me know. I've got all my dots there ready for it to be bound. So if you like the fabric covers and you'd like me to do a tutorial, just let me know in the comments. And there we have our number 33. Our beautiful fabric sample. Number 34 is very similar again, yet it is a felt sample. So most of us have felt just in our stash if you are junk journalists. If you don't, maybe you have a pool table that you want to go and cut the... No, that was a joke. Yeah, it's normally found in kids' craft boxes and things like that. So, and I think it just adds a really nice warm texture to the journal. So there we have it, number 34, felt. And our journal is looking very nice so far. Okay, number 35, this is a cute one, file folder. So a lot of us have these in our stash. If you don't, you can actually just make yourself one you know, just get a little template off the internet. They're really not hard, and you can make a few and keep some in your stash and add one to your journal at the same time. So there we have it, number 35, file folder. Okay, 36 is a filing divider. So you will find these in most filing cabinets, and they're nice big pieces of material. So this is actually a plastic, but normally they would be paper. So this, I'm actually glad that it's this material, because it's going to, yet again, add a different texture to my journal, because we don't want it all the same. Beautiful, love this design on here. And here we have it, number 36, filing divider. All right, next one is a very simple one, a flashcard. You might have lots of different designs that you can add in. You might be able to cover it with a photo or something else, but, you know, a flashcard is a good base to start with. And you might like to just leave it as it is, which I'm going to, because I don't mind that design at all. And there we have number 37, flashcard. Okay, number 38, food packaging box. Now, I'm glad that I'm doing this in the morning, because this isn't making me hungry, but if I was around lunchtime or dinner, I'd probably want to stop and have one of these. But thankfully, I can just look at it and admire it and keep going. The next time you're having a pizza, don't throw away the box, because it's definitely going to come in handy if you want to keep junk journaling. And there we have it, 38 food packaging box. Now, of course, you can cover the tops of these with bits and pieces, but obviously this video is just showing you different things that you can use, and I'm not going to bother doing that, in case you're thinking, why would you want to have a picture of a pizza in there? But maybe you might. Maybe you had a nice celebration at home, and this is what you ate, and you actually want to remember what you had, because in 20 years time, I'm sure that the packaging isn't going to look like this. So maybe you might want to put it in there as is, but you know, if you didn't, obviously you can cover them over. Just depends on how you want to use your journal. But I mean, I don't think that actually looks too bad like that, to be honest, and I'll probably end up just keeping it like that. The whole purpose of this was to show what can be used, and if you're going to cover it all up, you won't actually know what those things are. So I might just keep this as like my bromide, so as a reminder of all the things that I can use in my journals. And the next one is a food wrapper. So yet again, it might have been a special celebration. It might just be your favourite bit of chocolate that you want to remember that, you know, because it might not be your favourite in 5 years' time. And I just love the texture of this, the colour, you know, that could go in a Christmas album or whatever. And, you know, that's what it's all about, having different textures, different mediums, different forms, and thinking outside the square of the things that you can use. Also, this can act as a little pocket as well. There we have it, number 39, food wrapper. A wrapper, like these are obviously both from food, but a wrapper is very different to a box, right? Because it's very crinkly and soft, whereas a box is cardboard. So that's how they differ there. Okay, number 40 is a frame. If you don't have a frame, you can easily cut one out. You can just get a piece of whatever and just cut a rectangle out of there. But often you can find these in bought picture frames from the shop. They will have a backing behind where your photo goes. You can actually get that out and use it as a bromide and cut out another one for your junk journal. And obviously you can put whatever photo or just journaling, whatever you want behind that. But that's a very interesting focal point for your journal. And there we have it, number 40, frame. Okay, 41. This is a cool one, and maybe one that none of you have ever thought of. Maybe you have. Let me know in the comments. Fridge magnet. Obviously, we get them put in our letterbox junk mail by all the real estates and all that sort of thing. Who would have ever thought that it could come in handy for your next junk journal? I just think it adds a real different texture and look. And also it serves as a, you know, if you've got a junk planner, you can put that in the front. Beautiful. Then you don't even have to print out a calendar for the year. So there we go, number 41, fridge magnet. And I'm just going to close this up now and have a look at this, because this is getting rather chumpy. So I put my front and back covers on just to give you an example of what it would look like. So that's how thick it is. I'll just show you from each side. And that's from the front, and I actually don't mind that that's sticking out, but you might want to cut it so it's all level. I actually don't mind any of them sitting, like lying down as coffee table books, and I love that all this is sort of sticking out of here and it's all textural, and yeah. So that's what, well, we're only up to number, what are we up to? Number 41, and I've had to make, I'm on to my third book because it's so thick. But as I said before, I am doubling up and I'm using a lot thicker than you normally would. You could just use one sheet of any of these, or simply use the ones that you like. Okay, here we are starting in on my third album, and we're up to number 42, which is a gift bag. And how gorgeous is this little one? Like, there's just so many pretty gift bags you can get. It's pretty obvious to us that have been doing it for a long time, but anytime you get a gift bag, don't throw it out, which I'm sure that we've all done it in the past. Keep them, because I mean, how pretty is that? And then you're not having to go out and buy other things. You can use this for a journal cover. You can use it as a page. So there we have number 42, gift bag. Oh, adorable. Obviously you can cut the tops off, but I'm not worried about that. I just like the extra interest coming out of the top there. Oh, number 43, greeting card. Okay, I've got this one because it was obviously when I left real estate, I think it was, and all my friends wrote to me in there wishing me well. And so that's obviously meaningful, and it's a beautiful card as well. So I'm going to add that in. So once again, it might be obvious to us all, but, you know, if you're new to junk journaling, keep all of your greeting cards, keep your Christmas cards, everything, because they're beautiful additions to your journal. And it's also nice to look back, you know, because you might not know these people in 10 years' time. It's just really nice reminder to think, oh, yeah, it was a really nice thing that they said. Or, you know, if you're feeling down one day, you can just, you know, have a read. I just think adding these cards just adds a lot of interest for people to have a read and to preserve, you know, your precious memories. So there we have number 43, greeting card. And doesn't that just look so cute? All right, up to number 44, grid paper. So I just love grid paper. It just gives a really industrial vintage look to any journal. And you can obviously journal on one side and leave it just like that, or you can find it at the dollar store. You can even go on the internet and just print one out if you don't have one, but it just adds a different element to your journal. So that's number 44, grid paper. And what do we have next? Oh, handkerchief. Okay, this is a cool one. So, you know, obviously hankies are not fashionable anymore, but, you know, we all know that our grandmas used to have them and our grandpas in their pockets and whatnot. So, I mean, you might have one. I do have a sentimental one. My brother's wife handed it to me as I was leaving my wedding, and I've kept it, but I'm not sure where it is. It's in one of my memorabilia boxes. But yeah, that was a very sentimental handkerchief to me. Or, you know, you might have someone that's passed away or kept someone's hanky that's special to you, or you might still use it yourself. I don't know, but this is just a bit of fabric that's been made to look like a hanky. If you have any old hankies lying around, repurpose them for your junk journal. And there we have number 45, handkerchief. Okay, number 46, we have index card. So again, this just adds a bit of interest to your journal with the text on there. You can actually fill it out, or, you know, just put a sticker over the top, whatever you like. This is date, subject, occasion, place, and comments. So there's plenty of opportunity for journaling on that. And you can rip up an old teledex, make your own. You can print it out off the internet. So there we have 46, index card. Okay, invitation. This is a nice one. So I've kept this wedding invitation for many years. I thought it was beautiful, and it just had a gorgeous little quote on it. So now it's going to make it into my journal because I've hung on to it. It's moved around with me. It's, you know, been everywhere with me. So yes, it's going to have a very special place in my journal now. So there we have it, number 47, invitation. Okay, next up we have an invoice. So this was actually an invoice for an antique typewriter that I bought, a Remington one. It might be interesting to look back in years to come. And I bought that from an auction house, so I'm just going to add that in there for some interest. If you'd like to see my Remington vintage typewriter in my studio tour when I do it, let me know down below, and I will be sure to do that video in the coming week. So that's 48 invoice. And also you could use, obviously, vintage ones, or, you know, ones from the past. That's like just a current one. Okay, 49, this is a cool one. It is a jeans sample, and that just adds a really cool texture to your journal. You could actually cut it so that you have the pocket, and then you've got, you know, you can put some little goodies in there, but I've just done a simple swatch from the leg, so I don't think that needs too much more of an explanation. And there we have number 49, jeans sample. And number 50 is jewellery bags. Now I have two of the cutest little ones, just little mesh one there, but how adorable is this? I just bought these in a pack of 10 off Temu. and I can add the link down below if you're interested, but basically a couple of dollars. How sweet is that? So I'm going to use this one because I just think it's super pretty. Okay, and the holes went through that pretty easily. So there you have it, number 50 jewellery bag. And I just think this is turning out to be really pastel and cute, this album. Okay, number 51 is label. Now this is just a basic label that's come with something that I've bought, but I thought, you know, it's cool. It'll be cool to look back on the fonts and all that in years to come, and also I can journal on the back. It could be a label off a jar or anything that you think's pretty. A label off, you know, some homewares. And there you have it, number 51. Okay, label. Number 52 is lunch bag. Now you can get 100 of these for like a couple of dollars at Coles or Woolies or your local junk shop. And they just serve many purposes. You can fold them in half. You can have them as a double little page with a pocket. I just think they're fantastic. You can cover the inside of your journal covers with them. So many uses for lunch bags. This one I just dressed it up a little bit with a stamp and, you know, some stitching, but you certainly don't have to do that. You can 100% just add it as it is, and that is 52 lunch bag. Don't go stealing, you know, your kids' lunch bags for the sake of your journal. At least let them eat their lunch before you take it. The next one is magazine page, and I have a Scrapbooking Memories magazine here. I have a Lana on page 130. Where is this? I used to absolutely love double page layouts, and that was my thing. So I used to get a few publications because no one else really liked double layouts. I'm sure there were a few, but yeah, they certainly weren't as common. So rather than rip that up, I've actually, so what I did, you know, I'm sure that we've all got piles and piles and piles of these magazines, and they take up such a lot of space. So I would just rip out the pages that were inspirational to me and just keep the pages and get rid of the rest, unless of course I was in it. These ones, if you are, who's this one? Oh, C.D. McCuskey or Alison Davis. These are two that you've inspired me. So I'm actually just going to pop those ones in. So there we go, magazine page. Obviously you could scan your own work and put it in there, but just for the purpose of this, I'm just going to do it like that. And while we're on the topic of magazines, I actually made a journal. This is ages ago, but this is completely made out of a magazine that's been cut down to size, and then you just cover it. These are actually the pattern papers that used to come inside of the magazine. So I've done a purpose-built journal all to do with magazines. So if you want a tutorial on that, let me know. But that's how you use up all those papers that you used to get inside the magazine if you thought they were a bit daggy or whatever. And that can be a junk journal planner for one of the months of the year. Okay, so the next one is number 54, and it is an oldie but a goodie, a manila folder. So once again, this is just like your paper shopping bags, which is coming up in a moment. So many uses for this: a journal cover, a page, a pocket, you know, a flip. So many different uses. Very, very handy to have. So stock up on these whenever you can if they're on special. All right, so there we have number 54, manila folder. The next one, 55, is map. Now I've chosen this one because it is just a very, very interesting old, got these from my local op shop, a bunch of them. Just a very old map, and I think that it's very antique and it's very interesting. And it's going to add a lot of interest to my journal. So there we go. Which way do I want it? So there we go. You can actually go to your op shop, and I'm sure that there'll be heaps of old atlases in there, and you can get some vintage maps that way, or you can, once again, you can just print it off the internet. What's up next? Okay, mesh or tulle. A lot of you might be able to dive into the stash if you had little girls of their old, you know, ballet outfits or dress up clothes, or just, you know, clothes that you have for toys, teddy bears, whatever. I just think this adds another dimension, another, you know, textural effect. You can still see what's in there. Mesh or tulle, however you'd like to describe it. Okay, 57, napkin. Okay, there's so many beautiful napkins out there, honestly. Some of them are even prettier than pattern paper. And you can go to restaurants, pick them up. They're just going to be neutral coloured most of the time. That might be, once again, that you want to remember that particular restaurant. Grab a napkin, put it in your junk journal. And aside from the textual element, a lot of them are just so pretty, the designs. And there we have number 57 napkin. 58 is new envelope. So not much explanation needed there. We know how envelopes work, that we've got the pockets, punch the holes, pop them in. This was a new envelope that I actually altered. I did the coffee stain. I put a little sticker over there with the stamp so that it actually turns into and looks like a vintage envelope. So I have 2 little pockets there. You could even stick that one on the front and have a little pocket there if you wanted to. There's 2 more little pockets and 2 more little bits of interest in our journal. And there we go. Number 58, new envelope. At number 59, and we're powering on here, newspaper page. So I was lucky to get on Facebook Marketplace a whole tub of old vintage newspapers. Now, how beautiful are these? Like, just the colour. You cannot recreate that. And, well, actually, there's my comic page that I should have used earlier. Actually, I might do that. Well, I've joined it together now, but that would have been perfect for the comic page and for the newspaper page. All right, well, anyway, that's okay. We'll just put the holes in it for now and we'll just use it like that. I just think it's so interesting to look at the old fonts and, you know, the way people used to dress and the things that they were advertising way back when. So look at this, October 4, 1951, 50 plus, what are we, 25, 75, so 70, yeah, 75 years old. Wow. Wow, that is amazing that a 75-year-old piece of paper made it into my hands and my YouTube video. Now, obviously, you know, you could trim this up, but I like how it's sticking out the top and I don't want to waste. And we can just do that. And that is perfect. Okay. And that's nice and neat. Number 59, newspaper page. Now, if you don't have any, you can just go onto Temu. There's heaps of newspaper recreations or, you know, whatnot. Ask your neighbours, ask around, just... you can always put ads on Facebook Marketplace for these things. Anyone wanting to get rid of old newspapers, oh, I'm happy to come and collect them. It might be someone clearing out an estate that'd be happy for you to come and get things. So if you don't ask, you don't get. So it's just an idea for you. Okay, 60 is a notepad page. This one might be fairly obvious, but maybe it's not. Okay, so here we go. I just like the look of that little one. You can do journaling. You can do whatever you want. It's only limited to your imagination. This is actually antique vintage, whatever you want to call it. December 1964. I bought these in bulk off a lady as well. So, yeah, I mean, it's not really an invoice. It's a petty cash payment book. So it is from a notebook. It just happens to be a vintage one. So you can see the difference with those. We're going to add 2 nice sort of industrial elements to the journal. And there we go. So we've got 60 notepad. All right, I like this idea. Number 61, use an old layout in your journal. So this one here, I don't know what I would have done that for, but it's not really a card. It's not really a layout. It's an unusual shape. This is Billy, and it said, your lashes and lips are just the sweetest ever. September 05. What better use is there for it to go into your junk journal rather than just, you know, being in some box somewhere where you're not going to look at it? Beautiful. It's now part of my journal. Love it. So start going through all your old scrapbooking albums or your stash and get an old layout, add it to your junk journal. Coming in at number 62 is packaging paper. Now, this here, I think I bought something on Amazon or whatever, and this is all the stuff that they pile into the boxes. And there's so many different types that you get. Some of them are shiny, some of them are matte, but that's what I kept it for, or to cover the inside of an album or, you know, whatnot, like I've explained before. But packaging paper can also be like, so this was a packaging slip, and it was yellow, so I thought, why not? That might look okay in a journal. And also I call this packaging paper as well because it was a little card that someone sent to me. And so that was all in packaging paper as well. So, I mean, I'll just add these 3 in. So this was all the packaging paper that came with an order, or orders plural. I can't remember now. They're probably all from different orders, but there you go. They're now part of my journal, and how good do they look? Okay, so that was number 62, packaging paper. All right, number 63. This one's also an oldie but a goodie, and I've spoken about it in my previous video. And it is a paint sample card. So next time you're at Bunnings, start stocking up because they come in very, very handy. Now these ones, you can actually rip them into 3, which is very cool. And then you could make little tags out of them or whatever. But this time I'm going to leave it as it is. Now you can cover the back with just a plain sheet of white paper so that you can have it for a journaling card. You can, you know, coffee stain it, whatever. So at my Bunnings, they must think that I live in a mansion, that I must have that many rooms I want to paint because I'm always in there taking them. Okay, so there you go. So that is number 63, paint sample card. All right, 64 is paper doily. Now, a lot of us would have had these around at Christmas time maybe as decorations on the tables. But honestly, you can pick them up at Spotlight, Dollar Tree, whatever, just for a couple of dollars and have them in your stash. And like, how beautiful are they? They just add the most gorgeous effect to any journal. You can layer them. They just look like a big flower. And also, what's beautiful, with the fabric one, you don't even have to punch holes because the holes are already there. So, I mean, how good is that? And there we go. We just have to line this up a little bit. Make sure that we get it where the hole is. And I like that they're sticking out the side there because it adds a little bit of extra dimension to the side. Okay, there we go. Fantastic. Number 64, paper doily. Okay, we're on to the P's. So these are all paper. This is probably not a paper item that you would think of, though, to put in your journal. And what it is a paper plate. And how pretty is that? It's just as pretty as the doily. So, again, you can get these from your local junk shops. It's gorgeous. Who wouldn't want that in their that would even make a nice journal topper as well on the front. And you can layer some flowers. All right, I had to bend this one over a little bit because it wasn't wanting to cut with the grooves in that plate. It was missing the hole, so, but that's perfectly fine. How gorgeous is that? I hope you guys are loving this as much as I am. This is just looking so amazing. This is like you know, most of this stuff was pastels. It wasn't meant to be, but that's how it's turning out. There you go. So 65 paper plate. Start stocking up, guys. But once again, as pre-mentioned with the lunch bag, at least let people eat their food before you take it. Okay, number 66, paper shopping bag. I think we all know about this one. I've shown it many times in my previous videos. It's something that I use probably the most. For bases, for my journal covers, for tags, for you name it, I've used it. I've pulled it apart. I use even the handles for tag toppers. You know, a lot of people just scrunch them up and then they're just falling out of the cupboards as soon as you open them. I actually look at these like, I probably treat these with more respect than the things that I buy inside them. As soon as I get the bags home, I'm, you know, putting the folds in them and neatly, you know, putting them into the pantry for future use. So I just love these things, and I, you know, always say to anyone, if you don't want your bags, I'll happily take them. You can either, yeah, cut a small section out, you can put the whole thing in, you can do whatever you like. So there you go. Paper shopping bag. Couldn't be without it. Another staple item that we have around the home is a paper towel, and you can get a lot of really cool designs with paper towel. This one's got lots of nice circles on there, really pretty pattern. So obviously you could coffee dye this as well, but I'm not going to do that in this video. We're just going to pop that in there to show you. You can double it over if you want to give it a bit of extra strength. You can glue it or just simply do it like that. I just love seeing all these different paper types in my journal. I love it. It's just so boring having the same plain paper and pattern paper and whatever else all through your journal. This is like delicious. Look at it all. Oh, I just love it. 67 paper towel. 68's a nice one, and it is a personal letter. All right, this one just says, to my beautiful baby girl, I'm so proud of you. It could be a love letter. It could be a letter that you've written to someone. I actually just think one of the most important things you can do is let people know how you feel. It doesn't cost you anything. And, you know, I was only talking to my best friend the other day about, you know, people writing in cards when they just say to, from, with nothing else. I just think when you can actually take a second to let someone know what they mean to you, I think that means more than the actual gift itself. More people are generic than not, you know, just the to and from. To let someone know what you think of them, what it means to that person, so powerful, and it's one of the best things that you can do. So next time that you're writing a card, take 5 minutes to just let that person know what they mean to you. It could just just be, I really enjoy spending time with you, or I walk into a shop, you know, you've always got a smile. I gave some cards to the ladies in my op shop because every time I walk in there, they just make me feel good and I want to keep going back. And I let them know. I said, you really make my experience wonderful. I said, there's so many people that shouldn't be in customer service. And I think those cards would have just meant so much to them because there's so many people that are just rude. I treat everybody with respect and I try to let people know when they're nice that they are and that I appreciate that. You never know. You write a card like that to someone, you could end up in their journal, something that meant so much to them that they're going to remember that for the rest of their life and look back on it, you know, and reflect on it and think what a lovely gesture that person made to me. So little things in life are often the best. It doesn't cost a lot of money just to make someone feel good. I really like that one. Number 68, personal letter. Okay, number 69 is photo. I'm cheating a little bit because this isn't a proper photo. It was actually off of Tim Holt's pattern paper, but I mean, you know, I'm just doing it so that you can see what a photo would look like. I just really like the look of that, like the vintage look, so that's why I used that one. So 69, photo. Okay, number 70 is a photo frame insert, all right? And I've got this beautiful photo frame here, and I just wanted to show you what I meant. So when you buy, you know, frames, they usually come with a pre-done up, like a mock-up of a photo inside. Okay, I got it out. So what I'm meaning is normally there's a few more pages than that. There might be like a frame and then there might be this, but this has just got this one. But I mean, how cute is that? Just to add to a journal. It's like a vintage postcard or something. Okay guys, so after the photo frame insert, I've put the covers on this one front and back, and I'm going to finish this book here. And then the last 26 or so, I think that I'll fit into the final book. So that's what it looks like there from all sides. And I just got my tear ruler and I made the edges of the manila folder there, you know, a bit more interesting to look at than just plain straight edges. Okay, so that is book number 3. Obviously, just remember that I would be covering this and making it into a proper journal cover. This is not how I want it to look. This is just for the purpose of the video, showing you the covers so that you know what the pages would look like within the bases of a journal. So I would be decorating that, and I'd also be decorating the back cover, or I might leave the back cover like that. Who knows? I think the insides are very nice. The insides of the covers are very nice. But yeah, just so that you know, I would definitely be decorating that front cover. So that was book 3 of 4, and let's get stuck into the last one. Can't believe we're on the home straight, guys. Now, something that I've been realising that I've been doing as well is I've been putting all of the pages to the left on top of the album cover. I'm not sure, but this time I'm going to do it to the right anyway, just to change it up a bit. Okay, so the next one we have is number 71, and it's a pillowcase. Now, once again, I don't want you going and stealing pillows off everyone in the household. At least let them have a good night's sleep before you do that. There's lots of different designs, textures, fabrics, etc., etc. And there we go. We have number 71 pillowcase. Alrighty, the next one is placemat. So this is a nice sparkly textural woven placemat, and I think it would be absolutely perfect to go in a journal, and it would be even nicer if I cut it in half because obviously, yeah, that is way too big. So yeah, I don't really want to cut this in half, but hey, we're on YouTube here and we want to see how things look. So for you guys, I'm going to cut it in half. How's that? So now I have 2 really nice, and you can even cut it into 4s as well, but I really like that. So once again, just make sure that people finish eating their meals and whatnot before you go stripping the table of any decorations to use in your next junk journal. So there we have it. That was number 72, placemat. And isn't it gorgeous? Right, this is turning into be quite a marathon, guys, this video, but I'm very proud of myself for persisting with it. All right, so here we have number 73, and it is a plastic divider. Now, I'm not really sure. Well, actually, I think that this was in the bottom of a bag, some type of bag, and it was giving it sort of structure Oh, yes, the bottom of a shopping bag. That's right. You'll find these in a lot of the fabric shopping bags in the bottom. So that's where I've gotten this from. I just like that it's black. I like the shape of it, the rounded corners. It's thin. It's adding, again, a different element to my journal. All right, there we go. All right, and there we have number 73, plastic divider. Okay, number 74, plastic mailer. All right. I thought this was gorgeous. A DVD came, yes, a Wiggles one for Billy in the mail, and they sent it like this. So not only do I have a beautiful textured silver plastic mailer to add to my journal, which can also be a pocket, but I have 2 little stamps to look back on in years to come as well. They'll be quite fun to look at. So without further ado, I'll be putting 2 holes in there, and pop goes the weasel. I think you become quite delirious when you've been filming for this long and you do some silly things. But anyway, what have you? Pop goes the weasel. There we go. Number 75, plastic shopping. Oh, no, sorry, 74, plastic mailer. 75, I was ahead of myself, is plastic shopping bag. Now, I've cut this up. You can buy these in your local supermarket, and they have heaps of pretty designs. This was a pretty Aboriginal design there, and I really like it with the hearts and the dots. Once again, wait till people have got their shopping home before you start pulling the bags off them. I think I've milked that joke to death. Yeah, I think that... Oh, sorry. One thing that I noticed, I was putting everything on this side, and I said I was going to put everything on that side. So just bear with me and I'll be back. Now I've got everything over this side, to the right side. I don't know why I just went to the left. I'm not sure. But anyway, we're doing it this way this time. So 75, plastic shopping bag. Now 76, this is an interesting one. This is an interesting one, number 76, plastic wall tile. So I actually bought these from Temu in a massive big bunch. My best friend's just rang me, and then she goes, sorry, I hope I didn't interrupt your filming. Yes, you did. I'm trying to get this up and I'll ring you as soon as I'm finished. Oh, dear Lord, the trials and tribulations of starting a YouTube channel. Anyway, so this is, yeah, a very interesting one. I bought these and I've used them around the house or whatever, and I had they came in such a big quantity from Temu. It was like a pile, like a massive big pile. So I've got heaps left, and what better to use them for in my journals? Like, look at the textures in that. How gorgeous is that as a different type of page in your journal? So yeah, I mean, not everyone's going to have that lying around, but who knows, you might. And if you like it, you can buy them off Temu. I think you just call it, yeah, plastic wall tile. That's what I've called it. And so there you go. Another idea for you, that these would even make fantastic journal covers as well. And you can keep the sticky on the back and you can journal on there. I just think that's awesome. Plastic wall tile. There we go, number 76. 77, this is also an oldie but a goodie. Simple playing card. We've got 2 different type of playing cards there. I'll just whack the holes in those. I don't know if that one's going to be wide enough. Hopefully it is. Yep, and it is. And there we go. So we've got 2 more beautiful things just to add different shapes, dimensions. Like, you don't want to have all your pages the same size. I just like that those are small. You can journal on those, or you can just basically have them as the aesthetics that they are. That hole got cut off there. That's okay. I'll fix that up later. All right, so there we have it. Number 77, playing cards. Right. Another one that most of us would have lying around. This one is 78, postcard. Okay, if you're anything like me, I just collect these like they're going out of fashion. So I've literally got thousands of these already made up, but you might like to have one that was real. I do have a lot of postcards. When I went to America, I bought them everywhere I went, things like that. So, I mean, yeah, obviously if this was a proper journal, I'd probably be using, you know, one from my stash, an authentic one. But, you know, this is just as good for now, just to show you what a postcard looks like. And it just adds so much interest and everything, because people are going to want to see what's written on there. And even if it's not real, like, they're still very, very interesting to look at. And then you've got the back to journal on as well. So there you go, number 78, postcard. 79 is a protector. So this is actually just adding a different element, plastic I mean, we've already got a lot of plastics, but you know, you don't use it that often, and it serves as a pocket as well. Plus, whatever you put in there, it's going to look, you're going to be able to see it. You can use it as a shaker. You can fill it up with sequins or buttons or trinkets or anything, you know, trim, just to make it look nice. You could use it as a bit of a junk journal dashboard and have all the bits and pieces that you're going to use, or the ephemera that you're going to use within your journal that can just act as a holder. So I really like that idea, and we've all got heaps of probably page protectors left over from when we were scrapbookers. We're junk journalers now, but from our scrapbooking days, so why not get those out? I'll put them to use in our junk journals. So there you go, there we have it. And that could be a protector. It could have been from one of those A4 folders with all the page protectors in it, like the display books. You can rip a page out of there, add it in, any type of protector whatsoever. You can add it to your junk journal. So there you have it, folks, number 79 protector. Now, number 80, you're not going to believe this. Yes, I had it in my thumbnail. People will be thinking, what the hell? But, you know, where I'm concerned, get ready for anything. And it's actually not as weird as it sounds. Yes, it is a puppy pad, but, you know, with all the other textures and elements that we've used, why wouldn't we want to have this? How is it any different really to a paper towel? Why not use them in my journals? They look awesome, coffee sprayed, just the texture. I even like this little blue paper stuff that's coming off the side as well. So yes, it would seem weird. How the hell is she going to use a paper pad? Is she going to use it used? What the hell is she going to do? But no, that's all it is. It's not as weird as it looks. You can paint it, spray it, do it, whatever. Have it just as it is. I think it's an amazing thing to add to a journal, and people are just going to ask, what is that? And it's just going to add extra intrigue and interest to your journal. So why not? There we have it, number 80, puppy pad. Who would have thought? Who would have thought? But, you know, we'll try anything here, folks. Okay, 81, record cover. Look at this. Look at Olivia Newton-John, greatest hits. Wow. I'm not actually going to cut her because this is a vintage item and I don't want to do that, and it's way too big, obviously, for the junk journal, but I'm just showing you some of the ones that you could use if they weren't, you know, or you could scan them, whatever. I just think that that's a gorgeous picture or image. But this one here I am going to use because, and you can keep the record inside it as well, of course, but I'm not going, since dear mother died. Oh, that's a bit morbid, isn't it? You just can't win. Okay, yeah, but I wanted it for this because I thought that that was really cool. So, album cover. Go and check out your local thrift shop. I'm sure they'd have some old albums for probably 50 cents to $1 each that nobody wants. Use the cover. How much interest and does that add? I just think that that is so cool. You can put a photo behind there, anything really, pattern paper, whatever. I just think that that just takes your junk journal to another level. Okay, so that's 81 record cover. 82, this is another oldie but a goodie, and it's one that we've all seen before, but it's a must-have in our junk journals, sheet music. Once again, if you don't have any at home, you can get it off the internet, off Etsy. You can go to your local thrift store. They're going to have, you know, junk music paper there for little to no costs, and it's a staple in all junk journals, and I use it all the time. And I used to hoard it like anything when I first started, like as though it was a real scarcity, but obviously the more you look around, the more you see that it is quite available. So there we go. And a lot of it has been inscribed by people, and they've put their little notes, and you think, oh wow, some little kid was learning how to you know, play the piano or whatever it was at the time. So there's a lot of history involved with sheet music. Love it. And it adds so much interest to the journal as well. Okay, so that's sheet music, and that was number 82. Number 83, shoebox. How do I put a shoebox into my journal, Tiffany, you might ask? Okay, well, obviously we're not putting the whole thing. You just can cut, obviously, just take the sides off, and we're going to just use the flat piece. So it's kind of like a cardboard box, but, you know, maybe someone wouldn't think of using their shoebox, and you can actually get shoe boxes with really nice images on them as well, and that's just a beautiful colour. So I'm just going to cut the sides off and I'll be right back. So there we have it, number 83 shoe box. Now number 84 is quite a common thing that most people should have in their homes, and that is a sticker. This one I bought for my car and I've never used it. It says not vegetarian, just off my chops, so I think that suits me very much. And it's now becoming part of my journal rather than going on the back of my car, so that's perfectly fine with me. Okay, and there's so many different types of stickers, you know, I don't think I need to go through how many different types there are. I think that we're probably all getting tired and you just want me to finish off. Okay, so that one was number, I don't even know where I'm up to now, 84 sticker. All right, 85 is storybook page. This is a fun one. So these are the most common ones, probably used in junk journals if you can get them, and they are by Edith Holden. I think we all know the Diary of an Edwardian Lady. So I've just got that one, but I've also got a golden book that I wouldn't normally be tearing up, but this one that I bought actually had scribbles through a lot of the pages, and sometimes when they're pencil I can, you know, remove them, but these ones were like sticker, look at that, like texture and whatever. So I'm just going to pick a page that I really like out of here. And I think even just that first one is pretty cool. And look, the page has already been removed, so I'm just going to do that. So I've got two beautiful pages, or I'm just going to put this one in because I want to make sure everything fits in this one, because I only want to have 4 books for this whole 100-page video. All right, so we've got story page book there, and that just adds, you know, so much interest. And who doesn't want a vintage golden storybook page in their journal? Okay, so that is, what are we up to now? Number 86, tablecloth sample. All right, here we are. I just got this from my local thrift shop. It was a woven tablecloth, and I'll be using it for the next 20 years. There was so much of it, and I've even used it in some of my tags in a recent video as well. So I'm just going to pop... Obviously, that's a little bit like the doily, but it's not round. And obviously, tablecloths come in lots of different fabrics, so you can choose which one you like. But I really love that. So 86 tablecloth sample. All right, number 87 tag. So rather than have a tag that I've handmade, because we all know about those, I've chosen a clothing tag. So once again, obvious to a lot of us who scrapbook, but maybe not so obvious to someone who doesn't. So, and what's even better is the hole's already there. How cool is that? That just adds something very different because it's only on one hook, and it's just a little bit of interest. Now, obviously, if you didn't like that, you could put it in a pocket, or you could just use a bigger tag, obviously, that you could punch 2 holes in, but I'm just going to use that because I like it. So there we go. Number 87 tag. 88 tea towel sample. Oh my goodness, I absolutely just love the fabric on this. I just think it's so gorgeous. It's so fresh and botanical and whatnot. It's still got the, you know, as you can see, 2 edges from where it was a tea towel and 2 that aren't. But, you know, it's a junk journal and there's no right or wrong, so I'm just going to pop it in my journal exactly like that. Doubled over because it's only thin. And just because I don't feel like cutting it at the moment, so hopefully everything is going to fit in, because I just said I was going to not do that so everything fit in, but I think it'll be fine. Number 88, tea towel sample. Okay, number 89. Theatre guide, and I've got the one from Fame. How cool is this? It's got vellum inside, it's got all sorts of beautiful pictures, it's got the theatre guide, old ads in it, like old fonts. Look at that. That's a pretty cool advertisement. All right, and so I'm just going to, oh wow, look at that. Fame. That's a piece of vellum with the Fame song. That is so cool. And a guest ad. Oh my God, I can't decide what I want. I just want all of it. So I'm just going to place it there as if it's all in there at this time, because I really can't decide what I want. Okay, so that's theatre guide. Once again, they will have them at your local op shop. That's where I got a heap of mine for about $2 each. All right, number 90 is a ticket. A ticket, and I'm going to have fun with this one. I did a Kentucky tour back in my early 20s of all over America. And so this here would be, yeah, well, I'm not going to say exactly how old it is because I don't want to make myself feel old, but yeah, it's getting old. Qantas Holidays voucher. Wow. Well, that's a voucher. Is a ticket and a voucher the same thing? I don't know. I was probably thinking more of a plane ticket. So here we go. They look good enough. All right, I'll just punch holes in these ones and away we go. We've got our tickets. I think they're pretty self-explanatory. So we've got ticket. It could be a bus ticket, a ferry ticket, tram, the metro, whatever floats your boat. Ferry ticket. There you go. Floats your boat, ferry. Haha. Okay, all right. I'm just getting delusional now. Sorry, guys. We're almost there. Okay, so number 90 coming in at ticket. Listen to me. Okay, so number 90 ticket. We're on the home straight now, guys. Number 91, tissue box sample. Now, I've done a video on 10 things to make with a basic tissue box, or it might have been 12 or something like that. So you can check that one out. I'll put it in the link below if I remember. And you could obviously get so many beautiful patterns for tissue boxes. So that's my tissue box sample. The next one is tissue paper, and once again, how many beautiful designs can you get on this? I've just doubled it over, so it's adding a little bit of extra strength or rigidity to it. Okay, so we're just going to put some holes in that one. Okay, coming in at 91, tissue paper. All right, beautiful. All right, the next one's a little bit left of center. Toilet roll or paper towel roll. Okay, so this one's a toilet roll, and it just, you know, it's a little bit of cardboard if you like, but it's, you know, how many of those are you going to have? You're going to be able to make heaps of journals, you know, throughout the course of a year if you save up your toilet rolls, and it's even more so if you have IBS. Sorry for anyone with IBS, that was a bit of a silly joke there, but, you know, I mean, if you're using more toilet paper, you're going to have more toilet rolls to put in your junk journal, so there you go. That was 93, toilet paper roll. 94, tote bag sample. So everywhere it has tote bags now, and they're just so popular. Everyone's selling tote bags from the supermarket to your favourite dress shop. This is just a sample of a pretty one. Don't ask me where I got it, can't remember, but I just like the design on it. So I've ripped up the tote bag, and I'm going to add that to my journal because it's a lovely calico design. It's a lovely texture and design. So there you go. Cut up all your old tote bags, people. Number 94, tote bag sample. Okay, 95 is vellum. All right, and I think that I just had that left over for some wedding invitations or something at one point. So now it's going into my junk journal. And there we go. Not a lot of explanation needed for vellum. 95 vellum. Okay. Now this one's a little bit left of centre, and I would like to think that I'm probably one of the only ones that's ever done this because I've never seen anyone else do it. And here we have it. 96 Venetian blind. Now, no, I didn't just go and cut a bit off my Venetian blind. I actually was changing them, and I thought, oh, I actually really like that texture on there. And to be honest, not only have I kept it for samples for my junk journal, also made all of the labels for my baskets and boxes for all of my embellishments and ephemera. We'll be showing you them, like all of my stuff and my setup in my studio tour, but that's a video for another day. I just wanted to show you that. So don't throw out your vertical blinds, people. Use them in your journals. They're awesome. Use them for labels, use them for tags, you know, whatever you want. And they punch really, really easy as well. Okay, so there you go. I highly recommend number 96, Venetian blind sample. All right, we're almost there, folks. 97, vintage pattern cover. Okay, so obviously we know what vintage patterns look like. I've just chosen this cover. Obviously, you know that's a full one. We know what they're all like. Have I got a video on that yet? I can't remember. I'm that delusional from doing this. Has been a mammoth video. So I've just chosen this one because it had a bit of a tear at the bottom. So I thought, you know, I'll just use that one up because, yeah, the vintage pattern covers, they're a little bit, I like to hoard those. I don't really like using those up, but that one I have not got a problem because it had a little tear in it. And obviously, so that's 97 vintage pattern cover. 98 is obviously the vintage pattern from within the vintage pattern cover. All right, so we all know what that is, and just add that in there. And there's so many uses for vintage pattern paper. You can line the inside of your journal covers with it. I've actually lined this little tag, and I do have another tutorial if you'd like to go and have a watch of that, and I'll link that down below if I remember. Okay, and number 99 is a wallpaper sample. So how nice and textural is that? And you've got the little raised flowers on there. I don't know if you can see that. Absolutely gorgeous. Wallpaper's probably getting a little bit harder to come by than it used to be, because it just depends whether it's popular, and there's certainly not as many wallpaper shops around. When I was a kid, there was wallpaper shops everywhere, and now they don't tend to have as many of the big sample books as they used to have. Otherwise I'd be hoarding them all. But anyway, so yeah, wallpaper sample, beautiful. All right, number 100, and the lucky last, da, 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 is wrapping paper. Okay, and there's so many beautiful Christmas wrapping papers. I must have hoarded 100 rolls. This is just birthday wrapping paper, and that is something that definitely everybody has in their home. So if you're new to junk journaling, you may not have thought to use it. Why not? It's cheap, it's accessible, and there you have it, folks. 100 things to use in your junk journals. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to put album covers on all my 4 journals, and I'll come back and show you all of them. So before I put the cover on, I forgot to show you what this one looked like, how thick it was. So this is probably the thinnest one yet, or probably most of the chunk would be down in there, because we've got this big fame thing up here. It's hard to see it, but anyway, that's what that one looks like. And hey guys, I can't believe we're finally here. I've completed, well, I haven't decorated, but obviously I've just put covers on the 4 albums with the 100 things that I've found that, you know, from around the home that I already had. I didn't have to go and buy anything for the purpose of this video, and hopefully that will be the same for you as well. I'm not going to do a flip through today, guys, because this has been a very, very long video as it is. If you'd like me to do a flip through once I've decorated all the journals, please let me know. So I'll just give you a little look what they're like with the covers on. The first 2 or 3 were the chumpiest, and then the last one was thinner than the others, but that's because I was using double of everything. This one here, so these ones are kind of all within the cover. So if you like that look, that's good. You can see what that looks like. This one, I like how the extra stuff, you know, comes out, but it just depends on what you like. Like I'd probably just lay it there after it's decorated and have it as a coffee table book. That actually looks nice just like it is, that cover. But obviously this black one, I would want to do some more decorating too. Okay, so they're the 4 albums. Please let me know if there's something that I used today that you never would have thought of, or that it was there in front of your face the whole time and now you're going to be seeing it differently and using it in your journals. Let me know if you're going to, you know, steal something off someone before they wake up, their pillowcase, or cut their curtains, or go out with all their toilet rolls in your handbag. I've actually got at least another 50 things, believe it or not. They're not just scraping the bottom of the barrel. It's another genuine 50 things that from around your home that you can use. So if you'd like to see those as well, please let me know. I just want to keep bringing all the goodness to you. So if you like it, anything would be appreciated that you want to do. A like, a comment, a subscribe will all be taken with much appreciation. Oh, and before I go, which one was your favourite idea? Would you never dream of using? All that stuff, please let me know in the comments. Love to hear it. I'll reply to everyone. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye for now.